What is up, fellow nerds, and welcome to Not Your Status Quo. Tonight, we are talking Andor Season 2, the three-episode premiere that dropped on Tuesday. But before we get into all of that, Doug, how's it going, buddy?
Well, Keith, let me tell you, I am doing a little bit better. I don't know if you and Dave had heard, but look, we all know how expensive tickets were to get to the big Star Wars event in Japan, right? Generally, little outside my budget, but I had a great idea. I was gonna sneak aboard a mail plane. That's right. I put myself in a crate, had it loaded up into a plane, and not a great idea. Not a good ride. Took way too long. Definitely survived on wood chippings and droppings, and didn't end up actually making it to the conference. My crate got delivered too late, but now I'm back home. And are we are we talking a Star Wars product tonight, Keith?
You know that's right.
Well, I think you know what that means then.
You got the blue milk? Hell yeah.
Uh, Dum dum.
Boom, 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 boom.
You know I had to. You know I had to.
It wouldn't be this. It wouldn't be a Star Wars stream.
It
without
wouldn't be. But Keith, enough about me. Sir, how are you?
You know, I am tremendous. I cannot state how much I love Andor.
Hmm?
We'll get into all that in a minute. But football draft is this weekend. We got
Yeah?
baseball going on. Just a lot of
Which
sports
which
ball.
war are they drafting these footballers into?
It's gonna get ugly. It's the
Ah.
Russian-Ukraine war.
Oh man, I knew it. Knew it was bound to happen. Darn. Well, good luck, fellas.
And for those of you asking, hey, where's that third person who's usually on your stream, Dave? Well, he's a little busy. He's having some technical issues. He went to record The Biggest Loser on his DVR, and it keeps recording Chicago Bears games. So he's trying to figure that out.
Oh Lord.
I'm just kidding. He's doing some work rewriting the Mutant Saga for the MCU with his buddy Kevin Feige. So, he'll be back probably Monday for our Last of Us stream on Monday, which I'm looking forward to episode 3. For those of you who watched our episode 2 stream, I really enjoyed episode 2. Dave, not so much. How about you, Douglas? Did you watch
I
episode?
enjoyed it. Yeah, I did. I did watch them. I actually watched them a little bit after the fact, but yes, I did watch them. I enjoyed them. Um, Unfortunately, what ended up happening was spoiled to me some years ago. I never actually played The Last of Us Part 2, so the entire story, I don't really know. This is I knew more about the first Last of Us. That sounds weird. I know more about the first game. I did play that poorly, I might add, as a reminder for everybody else that watched our stream back when we were reviewing the first season. I am terrible at that game, and it took me way longer than it should have. But yeah, no, I did not watch or I didn't play through The Last of Us Part 2, but I did watch them, and the big, unfortunate death with Joel, that was already spoiled for me, but the gruesomeness of it, I was unaware. I didn't realize how over the top it was. I mean, hitting him so hard that she broke that golf club. Wow. I mean, phenomenal. Now, I do remember one of Dave's chief complaints last season was, A, it was too much like other zombie shows that he had watched, and B, there wasn't enough zombie attacks.
And
I thought...
he hates Ellie too because
Oh, Andy hates... that I didn't know.
because
Okay.
she's kind of a brat. He doesn't like her attitude.
Okay. I guess to each their own.
Yeah.
doesn't really bother me. I kind of take it as the way that she grew up. But okay,
and a room for growth.
Yeah, well, yeah, totally. Well, I don't know now.
Especially, well, I mean,
she may end up growing the same way that our old pal Anakin did,
or Abby.
Right. But no, I kind of figured that he would really like this season. There's definitely a lot more in the way of action, character development, all that good stuff. I mean, it was rough second episode, but they were both good, both
rough
excellent,
in the sense that it was emotional,
what happened in the story.
Excellent. Yes. Everything else, it was
yes, exactly. In my opinion,
mine too. I agree with you. And once again, that's why there's three of us. We're going to have differing opinions, and no one's right or wrong, except when two agree. So, Dave, you're wrong this time. I kid.
I don't remember what my ratings were for them. I remember thinking about them at the time, but they're good. They're good out of 10.
Yep, I agree. Well, are you ready to talk some great out of 10?
I am. Hold one moment, just for good luck.
Oh yeah. So,
try my nephew.
We got the first 3 episodes, and we're getting 3 episodes a week for the next 3 weeks too. We're getting it all
like mini movies.
Yes, we got 1 Year Later, Sigrona Tima, and Harvest. And it starts out, it's BBY before the Battle of Yavin, 4 years before, and Cassian is about to steal a TIE Avenger fighter.
Can I just say that I was super confused at the very opening? I had the subtitles on, and so it said the gong ringing of Ferrix. And so, they hear it. They play the sound of the person who's ringing, banging on the gong. And then they show this place. I'm like, oh, no, the Empire fully took it over. Aw, that stinks. And I thought that that's where we were. But that this was a facility on Ferrix, only to be like, oh, no, they just played that because. Okay.
Well, something even funnier happened to me.
Okay.
So, because I had finished season 1, I go into my Disney Plus and it says continue Andor season 2 episode 1. So I clicked on that box.
Uh-huh.
And it started playing season 1 episode 1 for some odd reason. But I didn't realize it right away, but I'm looking at it, I'm like,
why does this look so familiar?
I'm like, is this previously on? This is exactly what happened in the first episode. And then he walks into that place and I'm like, what's going on? I paused it and it's like season 1 episode 1. I'm like, so I clicked out, got to season 2 and started. I started, I'm so excited. I'm like, I've seen this before. What's going on?
It's good, but
I was completely confused.
It's like you make it all the way through the entire first season. Was that the previously on? I totally would have done that too.
I was baffled. I'm like looking around like, what is going on today? But then thankfully I figured it out and I started watching. But Cassian has a little help on the inside with this place, a little mole who is...
Now, I was getting some major sort of James Bond vibes from this whole situation between him and this mole. I truly think that he kind of flirted his way into, getting to know her, getting her to help him out, because we get these comments from, the person that, a friend of hers, well, she says that you're cute. And, I told her that, or no, I think Andor even says to her, he goes, they'll think that we're flirting or something. And that's, oh my gosh, I love that, because that's letting us know, again, the character development in this show, so good, so phenomenal. And I love that it's basically telling us, yeah, Andor is now an even better spy than he was before. He's good at using, unfortunately, it's what he has to do for the rebellion. He has to use other people to advance. And if that means, kind of like buddying up with this girl that works for the Empire, even a person who says, I'm very happy, I've had fun here. I don't really hate the Empire, at least not my job here. I know what they're doing is bad, but I'm happy here.
Yeah. And, it is all leading up to, the post-credit scene of season 2, Rogue One. I mean, he immediately blasted that other guy because he didn't want any loose ends. So we see that building up to that. And even though we know the end, it's so much fun watching this build up, because it's great when he realizes this isn't the TIE fighter he thought he was getting, and he really cannot pilot it. And he's smashing around, and I was so glad when the thing started closing. I'm like, please don't fly out just in a nick of time. That is such a trope.
It is. I'm glad they didn't do that.
Out.
But yes, I love, on the realism part, the fact that he isn't just an expert pilot when it comes to this. Well, you pointed out, it turns out this is a new experimental TIE fighter. I believe it was known as the TIE Avenger. I think I read that it premiered in a Lego Star Wars game.
Yep, the TIE Avenger, yep.
But yeah, I do love that. I love that sense of realism that this isn't going according to the plan that he had in mind. And as we see, this is going to be the theme for his entire adventure. Nothing is going according to plan. He's going to have to think on his feet, which Andor's pretty good at. But I do like how he struggles with that. He's flying around. He's crashing into things. He moves it too hard. He thinks he's moving in the right direction. It throws him backwards. He doesn't fully understand how the weapons work. One of them jams because, of course, it's Empire tech.
Of course. We did get a comment from Kevin Davis on YouTube. I do believe Star Wars will get Emmy nominations for Andor at this year's telecast. If they don't, then something is seriously wrong at the Emmys. And then Dave Filoni will try to honor George Lucas. Dave Filoni doesn't have much to do with Andor, but I hope he's there. And it would be nice to honor George Lucas. Nothing wrong with that. But Cassian does manage to escape with the TIE Avenger. Has some shootout, he's blasting some stormtroopers, and I love the tactical displays on it. Like, this thing is state of the art. It helps with the stormtroopers' inability to shoot by having an auto targeting system. So that was kind of fun. And then we find Bix and Brasso hiding out on like a farming planet. I do believe it's called Minarau, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
And they're kind of waiting there, but she's having a nightmare of being tortured, and she's obviously not over that whole ordeal from the end of season 1.
Right. Oh my gosh. As soon as she was waking up, I instantly knew. I'm like, oh, that's right. They had her hooked up to that, like the headphone things, and it was like the screaming and crying of children, and that Dr. Oh my gosh, what was it? God, I cannot remember his name. But anyway, he's telling her, and with a smile on his face, he tells her back on Ferrix, like, we found this to be very successful. And it's like, oh, you twisted dude. What is wrong with you? So yeah, I can totally see why she would still be having nightmares and PTSD over this.
Yes, this is not, one of those, oh, what happened last season, we're over it. They're all better. Right. She's still suffering a lot of effects from what they did, because what they did was just horrible. But then we see Luthen arrives on Chandrila for Mon Mothma's daughter's wedding, unbeknownst to Mon Mothma. And
now, I just want to quickly praise the art direction, the writers, the director, everybody that was responsible for this. Keith, about how much did you know about Chandrila and Chandrilan culture prior to Andor?
0.
Right. Neither did I, and it turns out it's because they didn't really develop any of it before. Like, all we knew was that Mon Mothma was from Chandrila, and that was pretty much it. The fact that they're taking this opportunity to expand on the culture of these worlds, and they're doing just impeccable world building, so much of it. And that was something that I remember praising the first season of Andor, that they had found that perfect balance between character development and world building, which is not easy to do. George, not always the greatest at it. He's good at world building, character development so-so, but it usually gets hampered down by his dialogue. But this, perfect mix.
And then we see our buddy Orson Krennic at some closing the thing. We are not going to talk about this outside of this room, and we are going to decide a few things here. And basically, they're talking about Gorman, and anyone who knows about the Gorman massacre
the place that they were meeting at, I didn't look it up. I wasn't entirely sure, but was that the same location that they were at when in the season of Bad Batch when what's his name died?
I think so, yes.
I thought so too, because the kind of layout, the setup seemed a little similar, and the fact that I really thought that they were getting ready to discuss the Death Star. They, tricked me on that count. But yeah, this is just as bad, if not worse.
It really was. I mean, hearing their plans. Oh, we've got to do this, and we have to get rid of them. We're going to start doing all of this, propaganda against them and all this stuff. And it was nice because Orson kind of meets up with Deidre, and he's like, "I know you have a plan. Tell me your plan." And she's like, "We basically need some rebels. Propaganda only goes so far. We need some insurgents who will do what we need them to do." And obviously, not under their power. They're just going to kind of prod these, rebels into doing what they need to. Unfortunately, we know what happens to fulfill this massacre, basically. And I mean, obviously, he is giddy with joy, giddy that she's going to be on the team. And she's not so much, because she still wants to find Cassian. She was so close at the end of season 1, and she's still like, "I have a mission." And the old guy's like, "Forget about it. It's gone. This is your new mission.
Right.
Fulfill this. Do what's best for the Empire." And I was like, wow.
The thing is, she was on the right track. She had a lot of good information, and she's been right about the majority of it. The fact that she basically pointed out exactly what Luthen was doing, what he was planning. You remember how he said last season he was trying to defend their action during the heist to Mon Mothma. And she was like, "You don't understand what they're going to do. The Empire is going to crack down on everyone." And he's like, "I'm counting on that." And it's like, oh boy. And even Dedra pointed out, she goes, this is, what did she call it? This is an announcement.
Yeah.
So this is an announcement. Because she figured it out. She figured out exactly what it was that they were doing. It wasn't so much that they were just trying to get money. They were letting everybody know, we are the rebellion and we will fight the Empire. And she knew that. But for her boss to say to her, "Well, honestly, you should really find the dude first and then you can parade him around." But she's actually right. Her method of, no, you don't understand. We got to find this dude and we need to make it known around, the rest of the Empire to look out for this dude. And he's, no, don't even worry about it. It's not a big deal. You had a year. You didn't come up with anything.
Yeah. But, then we finally get Cassian arriving where his rendezvous point, which we found out at the end of episode 2, is Yavin 4. Which I was like...
I did not know that at all.
When
not
he blasted
until,
off,
the third episode, I think?
No, I think it was the end of episode 2. Because I saw that, and I'm like, is that Yavin 4? Oh my god, how
soon
sweet
is
is
the
that?
temple?
I'm like, is he going to be the one who takes him back there? For pre A New Hope?
We're going to talk about it in a minute, but these idiot rebels that, he's kind of gotten mixed up in, how great would it have been if it turned out there was already some rebels in those temples? Because we know that, this is 4 years before they destroy the Death Star. So I would assume there's probably some folks probably already moving in some ships, getting things set up, because this is going to eventually become the center of the Alliance, right? So I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, wait a minute, are they just wandering around the jungle? They have no idea that the rest of the rebellion is over there.
By the way, I was laughing when they're like, "We've got 16 blasters pointed at you. Hey, don't tell them how many we have." And they're bickering and arguing about every little detail. I'm like, oh, this is such a nice touch for the show, because Cassian's going to get away. And it's not like they're, overly dumb or stupid and he tricks them. They just can't get along. And each person, it's like, I'm the leader. No, I'm the leader, and blah, blah, blah. And they fight over how they do anything. And it was just an incredible way to handle him getting captured in that way. Because it all sort of him being captured sort of affected every other plot line, well, except for Deidre and her boyfriends, but every other plot line, because Luthen and Mon Mothma's like, he hasn't checked in yet, but we know he blasted off from the planet. What's going on? So it's making them more nervous. And of course, Bix and Brasso are on the other planet, the farming planet, and they're like, he should be here by now. Why is he late? What's going on? So, like, one little event causes a bunch of chaos and all these other things because they got to be so secretive and everything else.
And the thing was, he wasn't even supposed to, take the TIE Defender anywhere else but Yavin.
Yep.
He was supposed to take it there, and then another pilot was going to pick it up. But unfortunately, these squabbling, teenagers essentially were like, "No, we killed him." It's like, oh my god, these guys are stupid.
Yeah, they were like, he was being rude or mean to us or something.
Yeah. I think his name was like Porco or something, is what Andor kept saying.
I think, something like that. So then, by the end of the episode, he's captured by these because he's outnumbered so much. But, he's now a prisoner. This is the second episode kind of starts, and he's a prisoner, and he's forced to watch these two groups kind of go at it against each other. And the best is they're trying to drag, like the ones in their little vehicle or whatever it is, camper. And the others are sort of by the TIE Avenger. And they're trying to pull it over so they can blast it. And, they're all like, they're going to have it targeting us in minutes. He's like, it'll take them all night to get it moved over like that. And, Cassian's the voice of calm and, but they're all, oh my God,
It's almost like he's been in maybe similar situations. He's like, oh, this again. Okay. It makes me wonder how much other infighting between rebel factions are there, because in the first season we hear Saw name off a whole bunch of them. He talks about the partisans, the Republicans. He talks about the Gorman Front, and I think he even name drops these guys. They were like Maya's something or other, I think was like their leader.
Well, Maya was the leader. I don't remember. I remember Saw's speech about all the different groups. No, God, I'm gonna have to watch Andor season 1 again.
Oh no, what a shame.
Especially
like he mentions all these when he's trying to when he's talking to Luthen, and he says they're all terrible. None of them are gonna last. And Luthen is trying to convince him like, yeah, I know, that's why we need to work more together. But we see it right here. This is what happens.
Yes. And then now it's we see Deidre, who's now answering to Kennick, overseeing the Gorman project, but arrives home to Cyril.
Oh, Keith. I don't know why, but I had like such a gross feeling when I saw that scene. Like a part of me joked in the last season, oh, okay, well, just kiss already. They're obviously going to get together, but their interactions prior, like almost throughout the entirety of the first season, was very much she was icked by him. Like she was like, dude, you were weird, stay away from me, like you're too obsessive, you're stalking me, which is true. He was hanging outside her place of work.
Yep.
He really is the absolute worst. And so when I said, oh, they're totally going to end up together, that was a joke. I didn't expect them to literally do that. And so when I see them, that they are together and living together, I'm like, ew, no. Oh, Dedra, what are you doing?
Yeah, but I think she does something very sweet. Because it was funny when she first said, he's like, oh, I figured if I didn't get much groceries, you wouldn't be able to get home today. And I'm like, well, that's kind of a weird statement. And then she's like, well, we can't put it off any longer. And I was like, are they having like some Imperials over? Are they?
I thought that too.
What's going on? I'm like, oh God, did not expect what we actually got, which was fantastic.
Cyril's mom. And that actress, phenomenal at being like just the worst mother ever. And boy, she ramped up how terrible she can be in these scenes with them. I mean, the fact that she was like purposely rude the entire time. Like, it was an inconvenience for her to be here. And it was almost like maybe her mission was, I'm going to take Cyril home with me.
But Deidre put her in her place.
Oh my gosh,
I mean,
yes.
he's laying on the bed looking like his life's pretty much
he
over.
flops on his bed like, oh, my mommy's being mean. And oh, I love the speeches she gives. She goes, just gives her an ultimatum. Like, if you want Cyril in your life, these are this is what's going to happen. You will stop this. The look in her face is just like, oh, okay, wow, nobody ever. And then also, I love how she drops a little, and you really ought to stop bringing up Uncle Harlow. I looked into him. He's not a good guy.
Yeah. Oh my God. But she is so good at her job and just digging into things. It's funny to me that her and Cyril are an idol because she's so strong and so and he's like, you say bad dog, and he's the dog that goes and crawls under a bed for 20 minutes.
Look, I'm not one to kink shame.
True.
Just kink ask why. But,
That's right.
Obviously this is some sort of like dom sub thing happening here. She's into it because she gets to boss the little, scared puppy around, and he seems to be super into it too.
Yeah, he's just happy to be with her, I think, because he really does.
But I mean, he also like loves the Empire, so step on me, Daddy, I guess.
Yep. No, without. And then back on Chandrila, Luthen is concerned that Cassian hasn't checked in. But there's a bigger issue going on because their banker friend, Tay, is now trying to blackmail her to cover, keep concealed what he did at the end of season 1 and kind of bankrolled the Republic and got her.
I did not expect this at all because if you remember from the first season, he was the one who was like, you may not like my politics, as if like he was implying I'm way more of a rebel than you'll be, and she had to essentially tell him my politics may be a bit too strong for you, and it turns out maybe he wasn't as all in as we thought.
Yeah, well, especially when he's like, what's his name got what he want, his son's marrying your daughter, everyone's getting what they want, but what about me?
I lost all my money, I lost my marriage.
And it's funny because
and he's also like, he keeps pointing out, boy, this is a really lavish event. This had to have cost a lot of money, as if he's basically telling her, like, I helped you fix your financial issues. You made it sound like it was going to something else, and then I see all of this.
Yeah, and Luthen is smart enough to know, and she's like, "We'll find a number. He's gonna agree to a number," and he's like, "It'll never end. If you give him one time, it's going to be. You're gonna have to keep giving it to him every time he runs out of money."
That's how blackmail works.
Anything else? Yep. So Luthen's onto it, and I was like, "Okay, I can't wait to see how all that plays out." And then we find out. I mean, just things just keep kind of piling on for these people. We find out Bix and Brasso at the farm planet, the Imperials are coming around for like an audit and arresting illegals. I'm sorry, undocumented workers.
Which, wow, really, really on the nose. And I have a feeling they had to do that because there were so many people who watched the first season of Andor who didn't get it. Just didn't get it. So, boy, they are like, they're not even, trying to be tongue-in-cheek this season. They're like, oh, yes, this is definitely, it's like poetry, it rhymes. We are literally telling you this is what it's representing. Yeah, they don't have visas.
Do you get it
They're
now?
undocumented.
They're doing farm work.
Right. It's like, oh, okay, all right. No, subtlety is out the window. We're not doing that anymore.
And then we get the creepy lieutenant who talking to Bix when he's like, "Oh, where's your husband? Oh, he'll be back any day. Oh," and he's like, "Does he worry about you?" And she's like, "In what way?" Like, this guy is creep factor number 10.
It's like, you knew what he was doing.
No, yeah, of course. Well, even later in episode 3, the mom, when her daughter was outside, she's like, "Get inside right now." don't talk back at all. She knew exactly what they were all about, and you know, we'll talk about what happens later, but it was just like such a...
Could you put us in tangent time for just a moment?
Yes, hold on one moment, sir. Boom,
So,
we are in tangent time.
So, Keith, you know that I eat up all the delicious internet garbage. I live for the senseless drama that happens on the YouTubes. I assume you've heard by now the controversy that happened with our good old pal Star Wars Theory, who notoriously, totally sat on the grenade when it came to Andor Season 1 because, God forbid, bricks exist, or zippers or something.
Yeah, it was something. Before you get off on your tangent, just want to say we got a comment. First time chatter on Twitch. Ukulele? I'm sorry, I'm butchering that name. I'm terrible with that, but just watched the first 3 episodes. It's the same story since the 70s. The theme did not change. It's just the current government did.
Yeah, exactly.
100%.
Yes, it is. You're absolutely correct.
Which just makes this hit that much harder watching it.
Yeah.
But go back. Tangent, please.
The reason why we tangented for a moment. So, I've been kind of, watching on social media, on X, on, a couple of other areas, and oh boy, what a way to really be on the wrong side of an argument. So apparently, his big thing this time, Bricks was didn't go his way during Season 1, but he's got to still show his hatred and disdain for anything Star Wars that isn't the original trilogy, I guess. And his biggest complaint this time around is, well, I don't like it because it showed, a terrible event, which we'll talk about a little bit later, happening, and the Empire wouldn't do that. Darth Vader wouldn't allow that. I'm sorry. Are we talking about the same Empire? Are we talking about the same... He killed the women and the children, and that was even before he became Darth Vader. And then when he became Darth Vader, he killed even more kids. So,
Well, then he tried to backpedal it. After that, he goes, Darth Vader did some bad things, but it was off camera. Star Wars, they don't show the ugliness of the scene. What it does is it implies it. And, this showing it was just... I'm like, dude, lost. Just take your L and please go away. Leave.
And you know what?
Make your Darth Vader fan film or whatever it is. Just please go away.
Okay, so
not you,
to counter that, first off, it does show some of the ugliness. We see several beheadings all the time. But you know what? He is right on one minor point. The movies and some of the other shows, they don't always show the true brutality, the totalitarian government that was the Empire. We're told that that's what it is, and we kind of get glimpses of it. I think we got some of the best glimpses of it in, I'd say, the Bad Batch, definitely in Rebels too. Not as much in Rebels because they were constantly, being defeated. They were, all the time. Even Grand Admiral Thrawn always getting his, his plans tossed aside. But we're told a lot of the about this brutality. In Andor, we actually see it. We witness it. All throughout Season 1, we see the terrible, horrifying things they do. In fact, Bix is a good example of that. Yep. From what we were talking about a little bit ago, with the torture that they gave her. So this isn't new, dude. Like, if you had actually watched Season 1, and I'm not just saying just Star Wars Theory, but all of the people that agreed with him, which there was a surprising number of people that did. I didn't quite get that.
Well, because he has his followers who, if he says something's bad, they're like, it is bad. Yep, it's woke and it's bad.
And it's like, no. But no, I appreciate Andor Season 1 and 2 now for doing that. It's gruesome. Yes, it's terrible. I would not, it's not something that I want to see, but I'm glad that they did it because the Empire, yes, they're the bad guys, but it's sort of like before these shows, a lot of the time it was like, oh, well, they're the bad guy in a fairy tale, right? And it was kind of this ominous, they're the bad guy because we're told they're the bad guy. We're not really shown all the terrible things that they did. This this puts it like, it's not as nebulous as, oh, well, they blew up a planet of people that we didn't know and people that we didn't see. Now these are people that we know. We're watching them get affected by the actions of these people, and it feels, worse because of that.
It does, and this is why the space wizards got involved to help defeat the Empire, because how they were treating people. You may not want to see it, and that's fine. Don't watch Andor, but man, don't try to say this isn't Star Wars, because this is what was going on that brought everybody together to fight.
Oh yeah,
that Sith Lord, and I'm eating up every minute of it because it is fantastic.
Same. Okay, tangent done.
And then we're back seeing our good buddy Cassian back on Yavin 4. The two sides are meeting to discuss a treaty, and all of a sudden a creature attacks, drags the one guy off. He's finally getting himself free and kind of ties the guy up. And the guy, the monster attacks, and they're all freaking out, and this guy's yelling, he's getting away, he's getting away. And they're starting blasting the TIE Avenger, and he just blasts off. It's like, thank God to be out of there. And that's where we see like the Yavin Towers, which when I saw that, my jaw dropped. And I was like, is Cassian gonna be the guy that tells the Rebel Alliance, I know a good place where we can set up there's an empty base at this place. We may have to weed out some monsters out in the yards, but there's towers and bases, and we can really set up the Rebel Alliance there with a secret base.
So that's
that would
why
be a nice touch.
I think they might actually already know about it. I think there may already be a detachment there, because again, we're kind of short on time. We've got about 4 years until Rogue One, the Death Star is destroyed, all that stuff. So I think there's probably already some rebels there.
And they did tell him to drop the TIE Avenger up there. So yeah, you're probably right. I didn't think of it that way, but you are absolutely right, sir.
And again, I think it makes it even better if there are, because then it just makes this, Maya's group look even dumber than they already were.
Eventually, they'll be brought into a bigger group and separated so they can't, a real leader like Saw or someone will step up and they'll realize, okay, I'm going to step back and stop arguing because I know who the true leader is now. But, it was just a nice little, such a minor step can have all those rippling effects throughout all those other things. Obviously Mon and Luthen are kind of freaking out because they haven't heard from him. They don't know what happened to him. Could this tie back to them if he gets caught? Could he rat them out? Because obviously he knows Luthen very well, because we saw at the end of last season, he's like, you wanted to kill me, so kill me now or take me with you, because I'm all in for this. And so they're getting a little worried. And then obviously Bix and Brasso and everybody else are like, he should have been, but he'll be here any day. But deep down they're a little bit worried about it. So we start episode 3, Harvest, off with him kind of just out in the middle of space.
Being around in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I am glad, though, that with episode 2, the way it ended, I'm glad he didn't kill them.
Yeah, me too.
I mean, although we have seen him off a rebel in the past, when in Rogue One, I'm glad he didn't with this group, because, A, it wasn't necessary. They probably would have either figured out, where they were and regrouped, or they would have all gotten eaten by the monsters anyway. But they can still serve a use to the rebellion. So I'm glad that he didn't.
Well, and the funny thing was, when he first took off from their transport and left that guy alive, I was like, he should have probably taken him out. Cassian would have taken him out. And I think it was a learning moment for him too. Like, he was sneaking away and no one would have been the wiser. But the guy he left alive, all of a sudden, like, he's getting away, he's going, and they all turned on him. Because he did not hesitate. That guy that was in the tie just blasted him. Like, I'm not wasting time. I'm not being nice. I need to do what I need to do. Just blasts him and takes off. And I wonder if that will kind of be a little bit about why we see what we see at the beginning of Rogue One when he blasts that guy. He's cold, but he needs to be to be a part of the rebellion like this.
Oh, he didn't even hesitate to kill that droid in episode 1.
Yeah, no.
Of sounding the alarm.
Yep. But he's trying to, contact anybody, and he eventually gets into Luthen's right-hand person. Is it Kayla?
Mm-hmm.
Keela? Something like that.
I don't remember now.
But he's like, yeah, I was there. Other pilot wasn't there. We need to do something. I don't know what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, have you talked to Bix? She's like, you can't. And he's like, why can't I? Well, they put radio silence. They jammed all comms coming from that planet.
Ooh, jammed all comms. Why? Well, the Empire's there. What do you mean the Empire's there?
And he just blasts off straight for there, which I wouldn't blame him one bit, because we see now on this planet, the Imperials arrive, and the lieutenant is trying to coerce Bix into helping with his stress relief, and Brasso's basically turned in by the guy they were working for.
No, he wasn't. That was
just an act.
That was a trick that he pulled at the end to save the dude's life. He wasn't turned in by him.
Okay,
that he purposely sense. That's why he kind of like nodded to the guy at the end there. That was because he knew that if he wouldn't have said something, that they would have, killed him and his family next. But no, this dude was helping Brasso out. He didn't turn him in.
See, and I did. Okay, good. I'm gonna have to watch that again, because I was kind of watching it at lunch today, so I'm gonna have to see that again. But I was like, why did he turn on him like that? That didn't make any sense. But that makes a lot more sense. He knew.
Yeah.
He had to be like, I can't believe you turned us in. I'll kill you. You're not making out of this alive. Oh, that's, once again, that's so much better. That's
Brasso's a good dude.
Yep. And
I wish he would have been, a bigger part of the rebellion when the Alliance formed. He would have been amazing.
Yeah.
But I blame what's his name, the kid. Oh my gosh, what is his name? Oh Lord, I should have wrote this stuff down. I'm the worst.
But this lieutenant kind of is going after Bix, and she obviously is trying to push him away and get it. She ends up smacking him in the head with a hammer after he kind of throws her into a wall, and he's like yelling and screaming a little bit, and his driver's like kind of getting out like, what is going on? And he's like kind of walking up, and then you see the lieutenant fall or will come out, and I'm like, oh man, please, are they gonna save him? And then he just falls and smashes his head on whatever that thing was, and I'm like, okay, he's down. And then this guy's like, come out, I'm gonna come in with my blaster or whatever. And then obviously the kid starts blasting at him, and she ends up blasting him, and they're kind of safe. And while all this is going on, obviously it was called in, so a lot of the ground troops that were with Brasso and the farm owner
Will.
Yep. So we see them kind of blasting off to go chase after Brasso and see what's going on at the farmhands little spot, or the whatever you want to call it, and they end up, firing at Brasso as he's leaving. They end up hitting it, kind of flips over right as Cassian finally shows up in the TIE Avenger. And you really see how wonderful that targeting system is.
Also, he's gotten way better at operating this thing. I guess floating around in space finally gave him the motivation. Look, because I think he even mentions at one point, I've been floating upside down for weeks.
Yep. Yeah, he definitely.
So yeah, he's mastered it now. That's pretty darn good.
And he blasts some of the farm thing to drop on the stormtroopers. But the first thing he does is just blast that transport. He's tactical enough. He goes, okay, there's 10 guys on there. Take that out first before they realize I'm an enemy. And then he just starts picking them off one by one. He lands. He realizes Brasso is dead. And he just basically tells Bix and the kid, hey, look, get on. We got to get out of here. This is... And they're like, what? We got to get Brasso. And he's just like... He doesn't have to say it. He's just like, no, let's go. And they figure it out. And, I mean, Bix, you talk about... going through some stuff. The torture of the last episode, the attempted rape this episode, and then her friend being killed by the stormtroopers. I mean, that's more than anyone should have to go through.
No subtlety.
Oh, no.
She literally says, he tried to rape me.
Yeah.
And it's like, apparently for some of the people watching this, they got to be a lot more clear. And, she had to do what she had to do. But I love the way that this dude stumbles out of her, out of their place that they're living. One last step, falls over. Perfect. Oh, she smacked him around good.
She certainly did. And then, as Cassian is flying them to safety, we go back to Chandrila, where Luthen takes matters into his own hands.
Yep.
And don't blame him one bit. That was a loose end that needed to be tied up.
I knew that was going to happen. I did not know that it was going to be, what's her name?
Cinta.
Cinta, yeah. I did not know it was going to be Cinta that he was using as his assassin. But that does explain why she wasn't there at first.
Yep.
So we knew that, Mon Mothma's sister was asking, like, hey,
Is it Vel?
have you seen her? Have you heard from her? Val, yes.
Okay.
Val is asking, like, hey, have you seen Cinta? Like, well, I haven't talked to her in a while. We, things didn't quite, things haven't been great between us. And it's like, ooh, that's not great. And now we know why.
Yep. And she's about to take care of another loose end. And then, which I think the next scene was one of the best scenes in all 3 episodes, when Mon Mothma is just dancing and just
shot after shot. She was down. Yeah.
She's just like, okay, I'm all in basically now. And it reminded me, she basically got to the point of Luthen's speech from season 1. She was like, my daughter's in this marriage that she shouldn't be.
You forgot to bring that up.
Yeah.
Talk about the interaction with her daughter.
I mean, when she's kind of letting her know, you don't have to go through with this. No one would think anything less of you if you backed out of this now. And, my mom was drunk at this point, and she's like, I wish you were drunk now.
It's like, I know that Mon can't tell her. I know she can't tell her, like, the reason why all of this is happening. And I know that she's... It's slowly whittling away, but the small part of her that just wants to be a senator and a mother. And all throughout season 1, she tried to connect with her daughter. And one of the things that, when I was rewatching season 1 about a month or so ago, one of the things that kind of stood out, and I'd forgotten was like a major part between their interactions. Tay had commented, like, oh, you're forcing her to go through, the old conservative way of doing things. She goes, no, the kids are just into it.
Yeah.
And I always thought, I remember the first time I saw them, like, oh, that's kind of weird. I wonder why she would choose to do that. But then it occurred to me, she grew up, she's lived her entire life on Coruscant. She probably doesn't know anything about Chandrila. She probably has never been there, or if she has, very rarely. She probably doesn't know much about her own culture, where she comes from. And as a kid, this is her way of connecting with who she is. And while, somebody who grew up their entire life on Chandrila and has done everything they can to escape those ways, all of the adults are like, yeah, it's kind of weird. I don't know why they're so into it. But from the kid's point of view, you can understand this is, rather than just be another citizen of Coruscant, this is how I individualize myself as, Chandrilan first. And again, yeah, it's a very backwards way of doing things to want to dress in this particular way, to want to be a part of an arranged marriage, especially an arranged marriage with a criminal son.
Yeah.
But, again, from the daughter's point of view, it does kind of make sense. And boy, Mon Mothma is trying. But I think when she, said to her, I wish you were drunk, I think that was it. I think that was the last thing that Mon needed to hear.
Yep.
Because, boy, her whole attitude changed after that. When they were getting ready to walk out, she says, excuse me, you're behind me.
Yep. The whole thing, the whole time she's dancing, all I can think of is calm, kindness, kinship, love. I've given up all chance at inner peace. I made my mind a sunless space. There's
Yep.
only one conclusion. I'm damned for what I do. I burn my decency for someone else's future. I burn my life to make a sunrise that I know I'll never see. This is what's called the Rubicon, or the point of no return. And that's exactly where she is. When she is just like doing the shots and just doing that dance, knowing that she is all in now. And I was like, man, I saw it went black and was like directed by, so I was like, man, God, this show is so incredibly well written, acted, everything about this. I love this show. I mean, I was shocked because all of the early reviews that came out, like a lot of people, once again, something that Disney's been doing a lot lately, they let a bunch of people see the entire season of Daredevil Born Again, and they let a lot of people see the entire second season of Andor. And I mean, the reviews were just calling it a masterpiece and awesome television. You know, it's so good, it's crazy. And I'm like, is it really going to be that good? Are these people just, you know, kind of giving Disney a little bump because they let them see? But after watching these first 3 episodes, I will never doubt Tony Gilroy in anything he does, man. He is a tremendous writer. So good. I love this show. I can't wait to watch all 12 episodes of the first season, all 12 episodes of the second season again, watch Rogue One, and probably the original trilogy again.
I mean, you kind of have, because what even happens after Rogue One? You're gonna have to find out. And then, I mean, they blew up the Death Star, so what happens after that? I feel like the Empire is gonna have to strike back in some way.
Yeah. And then how are they going to be able to, you know, fight that off? They're probably going to be the return of some space wizards or something.
Right? Oh, man. So, yeah. And then, oh, boy. How did it even get that bad? Probably going to have to back up and go watch the prequels.
And then the Clone Wars. And then
I gotta watch the Clone
Batch,
Wars in between episode 2 and 3.
And then
the
Star
Bad
Wars
Batch.
Rebels. And then Solo. And Paul.
How about that? 4 months later.
And I don't know about you, Doug. I don't want to assume anything. But that music they were playing at the end, that they were all dancing to at that wedding, that was a banger. I loved it. I was like, that was,
No.
oh, man.
Oh, I didn't like it. No. It was the Neomos theme, but it was, in my opinion, this was the Space Pitbull version of it.
No way. Oh, man.
As soon as everybody is like throwing their
Don't
hands
you
in the air
dare.
yelling, Neomos, I'm just like, oh, God, no. That was like, welcome to Miami.
Seriously, we're going to fight if you keep calling it Pitbull.
It was.
It was
They took a
not.
perfectly awesome song. I love the Neomos theme from the first season. God, I have played that so often. In fact, that was why I wanted to put it as like our outro music, because it was so darn good. And then for them to, like, you know, turn it into this like club track, I'm just like, ugh, gross. I don't like it anymore. Yuck. Give me the original.
Well, I thought it was an absolute banger.
Well, I think it's a war crime. And I seriously, that was the first thing that popped in my head, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to tell, and I'm like, no, I'll wait until the stream, because he's gonna have words if I say, what did you think of Space Pitbull?
Oh, man. I'm never going to get over you calling it that. That's just sick and wrong. I will never, never be the same. But should we rate these opening 3 episodes?
I think we should.
And since Dave, are you here? Since he's not here, I will go first.
All right.
And we do have Dave's review too. We'll get to that too.
Oh yeah, if you want to let us know what that is after.
Yeah. This 3 episodes were dang near perfect. I mean, I just loved every moment of it, you know. All the conversations, the way the plot seamlessly goes between all of the things going on. Even almost I know it's going to come into play later with Deidre and Cyril, but that seemed to have no part of everything else that was going on, but I still enjoyed it because I'm like, they're building something with that. You know, the characters from season 1, she obviously wants to keep chasing Cassian, and she's getting pulled in to the Gorman project, and he's with her. But everything else, just every time it switched scenes, you could see the rippling effect between all the different actions going on. The dialogue was tremendous. They say so much that isn't said. And such a great job. All of the actors have been beyond phenomenal in their roles. I mean, I am in awe of how good this episode is put together, acted, everything. Even like how gorgeous the scenes look. The fact that they go out of their way to make sure that they're not using the volume and filming outside and getting just great shots. Just tremendous. I'm going to give the first 3 episodes a 9.5. It's almost could be a 9.9, but I'm like, I need some wiggle room if it gets even better from here on out. So it's kind of like tempered down a little bit because I need that wiggle room. Because if it gets better than this, I'm just going to buy an Andor shirt. I'm going to start calling myself Cassian, and then that's the end of it.
So, I enjoyed most of these 3 episodes, but I can see why they are showing them the way that they are. If I had just watched the first episode by itself, and then not had the other, like where the entirety of the episode is literally just him taking the TIE Avenger and then escaping, and that's it, like, for the entire episode, I would have kind of felt gypped in a way. I'd been like, that's it, that was the whole thing. It was just, yeah, I mean, yeah, it was kind of cool, but, it wasn't what it felt, it really does feel like the way that it was presented, like these 3 episodes have to be viewed together. And in fact, it was weird to have the, the previously on and the recap, because it's almost like, if they knew that they were going to group these together in such a way where they had to be viewed together, it's weird to, have a recap in the front of episode 2 and 3 to like let you know the thing that you literally just watched, which if you watched the way that, it was now intended. Again, we ended up discussing it, I think a few streams ago, that Tony Gilroy, that he ended up, eventually saying the same thing. He said, yeah, they're supposed to be like mini movies. Each one is going to be, a different year, a different time frame, and they're supposed to be viewed together. Apparently, that was not his original. That's not what he wanted to do originally, I guess, when they were first talking about it and putting together the story. But that is obviously what ended up happening. I don't know where in the process it did, but yeah, the way when you watch these, you really do kind of have to watch them all in one sitting, because they do feel like they should be connected together. Like there shouldn't be a stop, go to credits, start the next episode. It truly does feel like 1 leads into 2, 2 leads into 3. Especially the way that they're intercutting between all these different scenes. They're catching us up with all these characters. But the world building and the character development is so good. I praised it earlier for essentially creating Chandrilla for us, because, and I don't know how much of this they might have gotten from George Lucas. I don't know whether he had created any of this or not, or if this is all Tony Gilroy and, the writing team behind it. But it's amazing. I love learning about all of this deep lore. I live for stuff like this. I get super deep into like Star Wars deep lore stuff. Like, I told you guys before that one of my favorite books as a kid was this book that I got talking about like all the little details of Star Wars. It was laid out like one of those kids' encyclopedias. And they had like, an image on one of the pages of a lightsaber, and it broke it down. These are the inner pieces of a lightsaber. This is a kyber crystal. This is what powers it. And it was like, it laid it out like an encyclopedia would. I love that stuff. Everybody else is probably like, whatever. It's a space wizard with a light sword. Who cares?
Who cares
but
what's
me,
in it?
I'm just like, give me all the details. I want to know. I loved finding out that on Ferrix, when somebody dies, they put their ashes into a brick. Hearing little details about how these worlds work and how their people work, it's great. And so learning about this, these customs of Chandrilla, how their weddings go, how their 3-day-long events, the whole cutting of the braid. And I love the little speech that the father has to give, like, I give you this blade, do with it as you wish. And then the boy has to respond, I will not return it. It's like, I love, like, it's very rehearsed, as it would be, you know? But I love that. I love those little details. And I like the fact that, you know, they're all kind of commenting about Tay getting drunk the first night. It's like, because obviously this is a known thing. Like, everybody knows what a Chandrillan wedding is like. And they're like, oh, what a faux pas. Everybody knows if you're Chandrillan, you don't get drunk the first night. You got to make it all 3 nights. And so, yeah, I love the world building. I love the fact that we finally got the TIE Avenger canonized in the show. I love the fact that Andor, Cassian, he does not know how to drive this thing right away, has to figure it out. So, yeah, all of this stuff. Oh, and then the very beginning, watching him be a spy, I thought was fantastic. Here's the thing that I didn't like about it, though. 1, I do not think these episodes stand on their own. Again, I really do think they all have to be viewed together. I don't think it would... It doesn't seem to me that it makes much sense to be able to stop and then pick up, you know, another one of these episodes. I really do think they have to be viewed like a mini movie, you know? And then the other thing that I didn't dislike, but I was... I don't know. I still don't... I haven't quite figured out my feelings on this yet. I guess I was expecting a bigger final set piece for that 3rd episode because I've been spoiled so much by the 1st season. If you think about it, 1st season, big final set piece is this huge battle going on Ferrix. My boy, everybody's hero, Tim with 2 M's, horribly gunned down. You know, Cassian has to escape with Luthen. We get Cyril totally screwing the pooch. But yeah, this huge fight that's taking place on Ferrix, amazing, huge, big set piece, big battle event kind of thing. And we kind of got that, sort of, kind of, on, you know, the Farm World planet with the different 100 districts. I do not remember what the name of the planet was. But we kind of got that, you know, with Andor flying in, saving the day with the TIE Avenger. But to me, it wasn't as bombastic as, you know, the battle on Ferrix, or the escape from the prison, or... again, the battle on Ferrix the 3rd time around. It didn't seem to have the same oomph to it. But it wasn't bad. It wasn't as good as I expected it to be. So, for that, I'm going to give these first 3 episodes an 8 out of 10. And I do expect it is going to get much better. I know that I'm probably going to be horrified very soon when they show us the genocide on Gorman. I know that's probably what's coming up next. And I expect, you know, the wonderful folks that have created this masterpiece of a show to show us all of the dirtiest, ugliest parts of it. Yeah. Now, I do have a possible what's next.
Ooh, let's hear
it. I'm probably wrong.
And for those of you out there, Disney did not send us the entire 2nd season.
No,
so
no, they did not.
We don't know what's coming up.
Know what's coming next. But no, my what's next, I'm not fully convinced that Dedra is all in with the Empire. I think something on Ferrix shook her. This weird coupling with Cyril just kind of grosses me out.
By the way, I forgot to mention it.
Go ahead.
How... like laboratory clean their apartment was.
Yeah.
That was like, I was like, okay, we know how she is. I was a little taken aback.
She manages
how that was.
it.
How's
yes.
it going, buddy?
Minions! Tonight we steal the moon!
I guess he's stealing the moon tonight.
Okay.
Hey, can you shut my door, buddy?
Sure.
Thanks.
I farted very loud.
He did too.
Oh, I can't wait until he's a teenager and you show these recordings to him.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be so good. No, Dad, that's on the internet for everyone to see? Yep, it sure is, buddy.
They all know who you are.
No, so my what's next is I don't think that she is all in on this. I think maybe something might have shook her up. Maybe she's coming to some kind of realization. I don't know. Again, I'm probably wrong. Maybe she is, still all in because the way that she talks about the Kinderblock, to Cyril's mom and how, oh yeah, no, everything worked out great for me. I'm glad I didn't have parents. The Empire raised me. So I don't know if she's putting on an act or what, but to me, it seems like she doesn't want anything to do with this Gorman purge, and I don't know if that's because she's morally against it, or if she really is just all in on still trying to catch Axis and Andor.
See, I kind of go back and forth on that with her too. When she said, "I have a mission," I'm like, is she trying to find him to join the rebellion, or is she trying to
That's what I
find
was wondering
him
too.
to actually bring him in and really be the oorah, imperial that she wants to be? They've done a good job of not knowing where her true loyalties lie at this point, because
Yes.
she's
Also,
seen
as
some
smart as
nasty
she is,
stuff. Yeah.
yes, as smart as she is, it is a bit surprising that she has nothing to show for it in an entire year. Like her boss makes that clear. You've spent a year hunting this, and you've got nothing to show for it. So this might sound like a demotion, but it's not. It's like, ooh, okay.
And it really isn't, because what's his name? Krennic. Is that his name? Why does that sound wrong?
Or it's Orson Krennic.
Yeah, really wants her to be there because he knows that he's like understands. How
He
good
requested
she is at
her,
this.
yeah.
He's like, I know you have a plan, and I want to hear it, because he trusts her probably more than anybody else in that room. So, but man, if she goes over to the rebellion at the end of the season, that would be huge, because she is raised by the Empire, was fully part of the Empire, and if they, she's cold, like she's so cold with Cyril's mom at that one point. Like, it's just matter of fact. She's very, you can have one visit a month as long as you stop behaving this way. And, I did this. And, I would stop bringing up his uncle because I looked into him and stuff.
I looked into him.
She is, not like a warm, loving person.
No.
So if they turn her away from the things, that's a huge get for the rebellion. But of course,
Well,
we
that's
don't
also
see
sort
it.
of like if you remember when Cyril pulls her aside on ferrets at the end of season 1, she has to stand there and think for a second. Okay, what does a normal person do in this situation? And she sort of looks at him. She's like, "I'm supposed to say thank you," and it's like, yes, totally a human, Dedra. You are supposed to say thank you to the stalker too that just saved your life. But yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. It's like she doesn't know how to operate like a person. She doesn't understand love or emotion in general. She would actually make a really good Jedi.
Oh yeah, she certainly would.
Because
You
she's
have
not
to
into
detach
attachments
everyone.
at
She's like,
all.
yeah, I'm cool with that. Oh, everyone usually has a little problem with that at first. Yeah, I'm good.
Yeah.
You sure? Yeah, I could care less. Just get me into the Jedi training.
Right.
Oh, okay, cool.
Dedra, I am so sorry that guy, what was his name? Cyril? Yeah, I'm so sorry that, what happened to him. I'm fine with it, whatever.
Yeah, you want to know what happened
Oh.
to him? He kept eating those little earth-looking cereal crumbs, and I just couldn't take it. He left them all over my crystal clean kitchen. I could do chemical compounds on that table. It was so clean until he ate his stupid
And
cereal
he
every
drinks
day.
bantha milk like a child. Oh, also,
Dave. Oh,
you know what?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say Dave's review. He did send it to us. His
Okay.
review so far, schwing. He said the dialogue and plot are amazing. The acting is top notch. Pacing and action are just right. This is television greatness. And he like me, gave it a 9.5 out of 10.
Okay, all right. I actually just decided that I should dock it another half a point
Oh, why?
because I just remembered what they did to B2.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, that's right. Brasso sends him off with his girlfriend there on the planet and says, "Don't worry, you'll be fine. But we'll come back for you." What does Andor do again? This robot has been, well, where is Cassian? And then, dude, the poor droid just wants his owner, and Andor's like, come on, get into my new TIE fighter, we have to go. And not one of them is like, oh, hey, we got to go pick up your droid that's literally been asking about you for the past month.
Quick, get in. There's a droid sale on Tatooine. I need to go get a new.
I need to go get a new droid. So I'm gonna have to dock it down to 7.5 now, because that is a cruel and unusual punishment. That poor droid, he is a sweet little baby boy, and nobody should do that to him.
He has been mistreated horribly by everybody, and that is an absolute shame. I am hoping that right before the end of this season, Cassian goes picks him up and says, I just got one more mission, buddy, and then we're gonna just enjoy retirement. I just got to go to this planet and steal the Death Star plans.
Oh no!
But I'll be back for you.
I'm one day away from retirement. Oh no! Oh God! Yeah, if they have him say a line like that, that'll be. I'll be done. That's it.
Tears will be just strolling down. How could he do that to that wonderful droid?
I have, knowing the way that they do things in this show, I'm terrified that Andor is going to come back for B2, but the Empire will have wiped his memory.
Oh, that would be tough. Oh, man. And he no longer has a stutter.
And he won't even recognize Cassian.
Yeah. That would be tough.
And then, Cassian with a little tear in his eye, I'm sorry, I thought you were someone else.
Are you Axis? My new owner, Deidre, has been looking for you for many years.
Oh, no. It worked. Oh, God. I'm sorry.
I have to get Deidre's male escort some cereal and some... Why? I will do anything to destroy this empire now. You turn the one good thing in my life against all that I love.
You turned her against me. No, you've done that yourself.
Speaking of that, I do think, is that movie back in theaters this week?
It is. Yep. I believe they put it back in theaters starting Thursday this week.
Yep. It made like $5 million on Thursday night screenings, I saw.
No kidding. Wow.
They're expecting it to make like $30 million this weekend.
That's hilarious.
It is.
That's pretty funny that so it's one of the things that I've kind of been a little sad about. I love movies. I don't know if any of you out there can tell the fact that we're, on a podcast that constantly talks about movies and TV shows. I love movies. I love going to the theater. It's one of my favorite things to do. And so, ever since the pandemic, I've been a little disappointed that, unfortunately, the theaters aren't really getting a whole lot of people coming back to them. In fact, more folks seem to be content with staying at home. And I'm not trying to sound like a boomer, like, oh, you kids are staying at home watching your Netflixes. You do whatever you want to do, whatever's comfortable for you. But I like going out to the theater. I love the huge screen. I love the popcorn, the whole event of it all. That's, I love that. And I would hate to see theaters go by the wayside because they just aren't a thing that people go to anymore.
No, you're right. It's funny because my kids love going to the movies too, and I'm glad they do because we've seen Minecraft twice now.
Oh, yeah?
Just because the little gentleman that was here a moment ago really wanted to see it again. If you listen to him on his VR headset, he'll probably say chicken jockey. And when I was a boy, I dreamed of mine.
Did you guys destroy a theater?
We did not. No, we did not. We definitely did not. I would not waste popcorn like that. I enjoy eating it way too much. But it's nice. You go to the theater and it's, you get the popcorn, you have your drink, and it's an event. And and I like staying at home and watching stuff too. I'm not like against that in any way, but it just feels special going out and seeing something on that ginormous screen, enjoying your popcorn and maybe some other snacks you get. It's awesome. I thought you froze there for a minute, Doug.
No, I didn't
But yeah.
freeze.
And speaking of movies, we will be seeing 6 days from now Thunderbolts Asterisk in
I
theaters.
can't wait. I'm really looking forward to that.
Once again, this is, we just talked about how they gave critics and YouTubers, not us, of course, but one day, gave the entire season of Daredevil Born Again, and they gave a lot of people, especially at Star Wars Celebration, let them watch the entire second season of Andor. When they're confident about that, they've already had fan screenings of the Thunderbolts before the world premiere. And I'm like, okay, they are pretty confident in this movie. And once again, and this always happens, all of the early social media is always pretty positive.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And this one is no exception. And, you read some of the stuff people are saying and just, of course, you got the people, it's back to what made the MCU great and best film since Endgame and stuff. But, you read between the lines and they're talking about a very emotional, gritty sort of type movie. And I hope they're right because it looks good. And
It does, so far.
I don't think enough people are that into it yet, but I hope word of mouth spreads and people are like, get to the theater and see this movie because it looks great, if it is. But you know what? Come onto our YouTube channel next Thursday night. Check our At the Theater spoiler-free review of Thunderbolts Asterisk, and we'll let you know whether you should see it. But, I'm excited for it. I'm fired up for that movie.
Oh, so am I. I'm very hyped for it.
It's going to be good. And there's two post-credit scenes in it.
Ooh, really?
They've leaked online, but I've stayed away from them. So if you really want to know them, you can go find out what they are. I would rather be surprised in the theater, but
I hope one of them wasn't the one scene that I saw with them confronting Val.
no, that's not a post-credit scene.
Okay, I wasn't sure what that was. I just saw it floating around, and I'm like, oh, this is like a straight-up scene from the movie. I'm like, okay.
I'm pretty sure that's a clip they released where she calls him Dime Store Captain America or whatever.
Yeah.
She's like, who's this guy? He's like, I'm the Red Guardian.
Right. Oh, I felt so bad for him.
And she's like, oh, former congressman or I forget what she calls Bucky, but yeah, she's
Mentions that he only served half a term, which,
Yep.
wow. Like, we literally just found out in the last Captain America movie that he was running. What the hell happened?
he probably got a little angry at some of his fellow congressmen and maybe did some bad things. Who knows? Or maybe they found out what he did. Because we know the Red Guardian loves him. Winter Soldier, he is a hero in our country. This guy was a Russian spy. Which is
I
weird.
know!
Because can you imagine having like a Russian agent in our... oh, wait, forget about it.
I was going to say, like, yeah, Keith, I kind of can.
It's hitting too close to home.
Again.
Yes.
2 in 1 night. Woo!
Yeah, but I mean, I was worried about 3 episodes a week, but with the way they're structured, I'm glad they did it because I still would have enjoyed episode 1, but I wouldn't have fully appreciated it until I saw episode 3.
Same.
So I'm glad they're all together. It's nice that this is before the Battle of Yavin, 4 years before the Battle of Yavin. Next 3 episodes are going to be 3 years before the Battle of Yavin, and then 2, then 1. Right into Rogue One. So, so great. I'm going to be sad when it's over, though, knowing season 2 is the end. I hope that Tony Gilroy wants to do something else. Has an idea.
Oh, they need to have him do more Star Wars. The problem, I think the thing that is going to rub him the wrong way, though, is if they tell him, we want you to do more Star Wars, but with the caveat, you've got to include space wizards, and I don't think he's going to be about that. He's going to probably want to stick with more of the gritty, realistic Star Wars stuff, and I love all that stuff. And so I would love to see more of that. The fact that we're probably not going to be seeing any, any Jedi or Sith or anything like that, I'm fine with that.
Me too.
I think
that story would be weird if they were in there, because this
it would take away from the realism of it all.
Exactly. And I think
But-
if they understand Tony Gilroy in any way, they won't tell. They've got Dave Filoni and Jon Favreau to do all the
Yes.
space wizard craziness, which, don't get me wrong, I'm not putting that down anyway. I love that
No,
stuff.
no, it's good too.
Yeah, they've
but
got
in its own,
them to
kind
handle
of
that. If they want Tony to come back, it's got to be
more of the
more
same
mechanical.
dark gritty
Yep.
stuff. Yes. Now I will say that very missed opportunity. I know that they're not trying to do a whole bunch of Easter eggs and everything like that. Like every now and again they'll show us Luthen's store, and that's sort of like our area for the Easter eggs. But
Yep.
they had a very missed opportunity when we first got introduced to where Brasso and Bix were, and they're looking at that machine, that I guess giant sprinkler or whatever.
Yep.
They're trying to fix it. At that point, he could have looked at it and said, looks like it's going to need a power converter.
That would have been nice.
Missed opportunity, but
Yep.
it's fine. You know what? I'm okay with not having a whole bunch of unnecessary little wink nod Easter eggs in
Yeah,
this.
and the one big Easter egg at the end of episode 2, him blasting off and you sing it's Yavin 4.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah.
They're
Exactly.
not
They
like,
didn't say anything. Like when he got to the planet, they didn't call it Yavin 4 or anything like that. So yeah, it was kind of like oh, that's where he's been. Very much like when we find out at the end of season 1, he was building pieces for the Death Star. Oh, sorry, spoilers. But yeah, it was like I like that. That is a good Easter egg.
Yep,
It's all we need.
it's tremendously well done. Couldn't be happier with how it's going. Can't wait till Tuesday night to watch.
Can't come soon enough.
But I can only watch about one episode on a work night. By the time the kids go to bed, I want to watch more, but I'm like, oh, I can't. Because I didn't finish third episode till today at lunch. And I was like, oh, I just wanted to watch it last night, and I couldn't. But man, it's worth every minute. It's worth losing sleep over. I'll probably definitely lose sleep next week, especially, a lot of the reviews talked about how each arc gets ramped up a little bit. So it's only going to get better. Well, I can't think of anything else going on in the Nerdlinger world that we could talk about. I didn't make any notes. I don't know if you had anything, sir.
Well, no, unfortunately, I do not. I think that was pretty much just the discussion of Andor and, any what's next to sees that maybe we might have. Did you have any other theories?
No. It's like I watch this. I am not even in that mode. I'm like pure fanboy watching. It's weird to me. It's that good to me. Like everything else I watch, I'll pause it and write little notes and Slack to myself. None of that in this. I was just like watching the whole thing. It's awesome. I can't get over just how great it is.
It is. It really is. And it's an excellent series. I am so glad that it came back for season 2. Screw the people that are out there hating on it. They don't know a good show when they see one. It doesn't need to be your space wizards with light swords every single time. I love this series for what it is. I love the fact that we're getting a dark, gritty show set in the Star Wars universe. I love that they're building out the universe. That we're learning so much more about it. Give me more of those delicious details. Cannot wait for next Tuesday.
Oh my God. We just
What?
got a comment on Twitch. What's up? Remember your pal Don't Eat Me Cows from a long time ago? Of course
Yeah.
we remember you, Don't Eat Me
course.
Cows. And he's now Don't Eat Me Cows Tolkien fan.
Oh, really? Okay, so a lot of Lord of the Rings, I assume.
Which I still need to watch War of the Rohirrim on Max,
Ah.
the animated movie. My one buddy watched it and he really liked it, so I'm like, I keep meaning to watch it, and I just haven't gotten around to it yet. But welcome back, Don't Eat Me Cows. We're happy to see you. We're actually just wrapping up tonight.
You're right.
But always happy to have you on. We will be
as
back.
far as oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say we will be back Monday talking about The Last of Us episode 3, and next Thursday we will be at the theater for Thunderbolts, and then a week from this Monday we'll be back talking the second arc of Andor and episode 4 of The Last of Us, and anything else that may pop up between those times. So good times. But we're glad you're back. Don't eat me, cows. But it looks like we're probably gonna raid somebody now. We should probably see who is out there.
So I see Tiny Velker is on. I see Pharaoh Hero is on. Laura Loopsy is on. And somebody called Spice of Life. I don't remember.
Oh, they were playing that one game the one day, and we raided.
Oh,
them.
right. I was
What was
like,
that
how
game?
do we know that person? Oh, and Beaky B is on.
Oh, we should raid her.
We should.
All right, so we're gonna raid our good friend Beaky. Just make sure I spell it. It is Beaky B. Okay. And for those of you on YouTube, raiding is something we do on Twitch, where we send our viewers over to see another content creator that we enjoy. There is a way to do it on YouTube, but it's chunky and weird, and we just don't have the patience for it. So we're going to raid here on Thing. If you're still watching us on YouTube, please don't forget to like, subscribe, leave a comment. It's free to you, and it helps
Get
our...
in those comments. Tell
Yes.
us what you thought. We want to know what you thought of Andor.
And especially want to know, what you thought of Andor. But it helps our little channel out tremendously, so we appreciate it. And we're going to raid, but we will be back Monday night talking about The Last of Us, Episode 3. I cannot wait for it. I'm looking to see what direction that show is going in after the sadness at the end of Episode 2. But
Right.
we will see you guys all Monday. Thanks for joining us.
Hey fellow nerds, I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you want to see more of this stuff, make sure that you check out our Twitch stream. We try to do these live Sunday or Monday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Keep an eye on our social media to find out when you can join in live and chat with us during these live streams. Also, as usual, don't forget to check out our other social media. Add us at Twitter, comment down below, and we'll see you next time right here on Not Your Status Quo.